and all to the Roundtable. Today marks the first day in this journey that we really want to set out and mobilize the Jamaican people to not just complain, but let us try and find a way, some solution to address some of the problem. With me today is brother Wesley Harris, a developer from Kingston, Jamaica, and he's also joined by Mr. Rattigan. I don't have to say who Mr. Rattigan is. The important thing is that Mr. Rattigan is kicking up storm all over the internet and in the Jamaican government. You know? So what we want to do with this approach, bringing together voices from Jamaica who can speak to some of the issues that we're confronting. My interest, as I said, is Waterhouse, but Waterhouse is just a small part of the a much bigger problem affecting Jamaica. And hopefully we can have guests that will help us to do some deep dive into some of these issues. One main concern or one main topic in discussion just now in Jamaica is the 200% increase that the politician gave themselves just last week. And it raises a number of questions. People are up in arms about it. The political parties, well, the People's National Party, which is considered a progressive party, is confused, not sure how they should react to this thing. Words on the ground is that, well, there's an NEC meeting to sort things out. But I'm not sure what is happening. I'm not sure what is happening because it seems like when you look at this thing and you read the Sunday newspaper today, it's like they already decide on a certain course of action. You know, in today's newspaper, the Gleaner, Mark Wignall is asking, pose a question is, after this, will the next step be accountability? You know, what is accountability for them? We're not sure. So I want Mr. Radigan, you're in touch with what's happening in Jamaica and what have you. What's your reaction to this 200% increase for the politician them in light of the condition of Waterhouse?
Well, you mentioned, and thanks again for having me on. Happy to share the stage with Mr. Harris. Uh, you mentioned accountability. Now, think about it. This is the same prime minister who, back in 2016, said that his government would be held accountable, and that later on him said he was going to give a job letter to his ministers, and there would be performance evaluations and so on and so forth. So I don't understand why is it now we haven't gotten that, because if we did, there's certain ministers who would not occupy ministries. For example, Dr. Horace Chang with a 3 disapproval rating. You couldn't have him in your cabinet, right? You couldn't have him in the cabinet. Then you have a Minister Favour Williams, failing. Then you have a Minister Kamina Johnson Smith, failing. Then you have a Samuda who just left, right? And you have a whole slew of them. In fact, I would venture to say that the majority of them, you're failing. So how can you turn around at this point in time and say, well, we need a raise, and then we'll do the accountability piece? No, that's not how it works. You do the accountability piece because they've been there since 2016. So you do the accountability piece first. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't get a raise, right? But people are complaining about the manner in which it was done and the speed in which it was done, and the fact that we still don't have an accountability scale. We don't have. We don't know. We don't know what measures he was going to use, because he didn't say. He just said we're gonna have a performance evaluation. So for me, there are lots of issues, but one of them is the main one is, first of all, you promised us that you were going to do this back in 2016. It hasn't been done, and then now you're going to turn around and say, give us a raise, and then we'll do it. And I'm saying, no, 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 no. That's not how it works. You earn a raise, right? That's how it works. You earn it. You don't just get it and then you just give it words like a string of pearls and say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. No, do it first. And then you can talk to us about the raise. So I have a huge, huge problem. Then also the scale of it. People started making comparisons already. And I mean, I'm just rehashing what's been said and over the internet. People start making comparisons with the salary structure in the Caribbean. And now it's gone beyond the Caribbean. I know people are saying this man is paying himself more than some of the people in the first world, similarly situated like him and his ministers. And yet still, Jamaica is supposed to be a poor country. And he's saying that the Minister Nigel Clark, in one of his recent interviews, said that Jamaica emerged from COVID much better than all the other countries and can afford it. Then if that is the case, why is it that we took out a loan from the IMF? If we emerge better than that, better than most countries, then where's the surplus? Use that to pay off the debt before you start even thinking about yourselves. And then the other piece is that the poor civil workers, they drag them, rake them over the coals for what? Anywhere from about 4 to 15%. And then you turn around and then so you get the judges them, which I don't believe the judges should have get that increase either. They should get some increase, but not the amount that they received. And then now you turn around and said, okay, all right, now that everybody has gotten an increase, now we go and deal with it ourselves. I have a huge problem with that. Huge problem with that, because guess what? At the end of the day, guess who's going to pay for them all of them increases there?
What's that?
Them people are going to pay for the increase. Them people are going to pay for the increase. And don't forget the 750 million US dollar loans that they get from IDB, IMF, and the World Bank for COVID, and it didn't reach the people. And them same people are why have to pay back the loan, and a lot of them didn't get the money that was earmarked for them. So that's in a nutshell how I feel about it.
Mr. Wesley.
Yes, brethren. This is something that shook me when I heard it. And not just only me. It was something like a Hiroshima bomb drop in Jamaica. And all of us, the Japanese people will tell you the effect of it. Right? We have one drop last week, Tuesday, in the parliament. And it is disgraceful to know that our politicians take 300%, maximum of 300%. From 300, 100 and 200, 250 to 150% increase, while the ordinary workers in Jamaica, not everybody got 20%, but let us put it at 20% for the time being, because we'd have to be going through the different scales. Let us use 20% as a marker. And you who lead the country, you take 300 times that. That is disgraceful. But what is most disgraceful, I want to speak of, and I want to look at the thing where women in this country, I think women work harder than any other man than male in this country. And I'm not ashamed to say that. And why I say that? More women go to work in this country than male. And it's the female in this country more so paying these. We are doing domestic work, all of those menial work. And there's a politician in the house who beat a woman with a chair. And he is now getting $30,000 a day when you calculate his money. 11,77,000 per year. And if you calculate that to days, he's getting roughly $30,000 a day from female to beat woman. That is his pay, to beat females in this country with chair. So I want us to look at it. I want us to condemn it. I want us to start this movement, and the movement that will galvanize more support in this country. And that is what I have to say today about that. It is wrong, and this movement that we start today will help to galvanize what is happening. But I took out the female most of all because I want the female of this country to come out and speak against it more than anybody else, because they are the one who work every day. When I go to work, I am in construction, and there's a lot of females on site. When you look at female going to work in the morning, when you look at the bus stop, if it's 50 people, 45, 47 is female going to work. So I want them to come. I want them to stand up against this injustice. I want them to condemn this injustice. And because their money is paying this woman beater in the parliament $30,000 a day to beat women. Yes.
But
That's my case.
one can argue that wholeness is brave, brave because this never happened before. And in terms of timing and in the timing and how him go about it, yes, he's brave. And I'm wondering if that bravery has anything to do with how he uses security force in the country. You know, the Zozo and the used to intimidate different communities, and so he knows that he want this sort of reaction. He won't get a violent reaction to what he's doing because the fear in the society. Because he's very brave. You know.
But Mikey, you don't
So
have to be violent, Mikey. You don't have to be violent. All people have to do is go to the street and stand up. It is stated back that next week the country will lock down. All the civil service department in this country will lock down next week. And I hope it don't just lock down from one day, but I hope it lock down for the whole of the week.
yeah, but that
Right?
take organizing,
But the Civil
That take
Service
organizing.
Association and those civil service bodies is going through that. But we need to find a way to get the people in the constituencies that we work with, in the Waterhouse, in the Jonestown where I grew up in, right? In the spaces at the workplace to come out, to stand up.
You think that
What do you think
Radigan,
about that, Ratigan?
you have experience? You think that there's that sort of sentiment in Jamaica right now?
Well, I tell you, one
Very
of the
much.
most disappointing things was the protest on Friday, um, in Emancipation Park.
Emancipation Park, yeah.
Only about
Emancipation
150,
Park protest.
yeah, only about 150 people turn out. And then when I talk to some of the people, I'm saying, why the sun did that blaze and this and that and that and that. It The long and short of it is that it wasn't properly organized. No,
That is
the,
it.
the,
That
the
was it.
yeah, the protest that you're talking about now, that sounds like, and I'm getting word that several people are organizing protests in the coming weeks, and so we'll see what becomes of that. Also, there is a movement afoot to have people just stay home, just don't show up for work, don't take a bus, don't go nowhere, just stay here, just like what we had been during the pandemic. Them say just stay home and see what happens. Um, what I think we need to do, and Nita mentioned this about the security piece and the people being fearful. Yeah, people are fearful of this, man, because they feel like, and I've never seen this before. This is not the Jamaica, but the people just seem fearful because what happened is demonstrated time and again that or his minions have demonstrated time and again that if you speak out about him, then them come for you. Them can't find the top 200 criminals in the country. Them can't find them. But if I
But
like
we can't
one man,
find you.
if I like one man, they show him it and say, "Well, I mean, not like the prime minister." Them find him, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, now the man they compound and they make an object less no time, and they have to come out and they have to apologize and so on and so forth. Now,
Yeah.
Uh,
um, what we plan to do is we plan to, as I tell you about the foundation, it's not online yet, but pretty soon it will be. Because people call me every day and ask me, how can I make a contribution? Including people from Jamaica. But I mean, living in Jamaica. But what we're now looking at a controlled demonstration where people for like 2 hours out of the day, um, they're saying, okay, if you have to go to work, that's fine. But for your lunch hour, you show up at the Ministry of Finance or wherever, and then you do your
something
protest.
like that is organized for a group tomorrow named a group. I don't remember the correct name of them, but they will be organizing something at the Ministry of Finance tomorrow. I heard it on the
Okay.
radio this morning,
All
just
right. Well,
before we
there's
start,
another.
from
There's,
11 to 2 o'clock. All
yeah,
right?
there's another.
From
There's
11
a.
to 2 o'clock.
You remember the name of the group? It's not Advocates Network.
I think it's, yes, that's the name. That's those people.
Right. Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah, I was just on the phone with the person who heads up that organization.
So what is really happening now is that in all of this, where is the PMP? In all of
Look,
this
But
thing about
remember, all right, maybe
where is the
that's why the PMP gone into their meeting to discuss all of this. Because remember, anytime you start, if you have protests without administration, it will become chaotic, right? And you set up yourself for condemnation. So you have to remember the crowd control, and you have to remember the people that will join it and will destroy it, and they will send people into it to create mischief, right? So you have to organize it properly. We have many demonstrations over the years that we grew up, Mikey. We know that. But we have to organize it. We have to have people on the outside to watch the stone flingers, the people who come to mash it up. And we know and we don't plan how we're gonna deal with those people. So that is all. If you just come out and all will just jump and say, boy, because something happened, and you try to deal with it, then it won't work out. So you have to organize. They are saying, I think the PMP should have came out long time without just becoming like a paper tiger organization that you are sending out news release, that you are giving press conference, right? That we don't need news release and press conference. We need more things, and that is what's happening. And the PMP should come out now. I am not a part of the PMP administration. I vote for the PMP, and I have no problem in saying that I vote for the PMP because the PMP is the vanguard party at the time who lead the working class movement, who make so much thing happen for people, for students like us, Mikey, when we were younger, for the education in this country, for women and the rights of women. So they are the ones. They need to stand up, they need to come up, and they need to defend, and they need to take charge of that movement, that thing, because you have the leadership, and they will be the one that tomorrow morning, when we move those criminals from the House of Parliament, they are the ones that should be in there. But if they go inside there, we need to let them know that if they go inside there and do that, we will move them too. Right. God, that is what we are saying. That is what working class people are saying today. We don't want criminals. None of us is criminals. Where we come up to the different communities, right? I never yet. Mikey, I know you didn't. Roddy, I sure you didn't, right? But what? We speak now, and we are leading the charge, and we stand out in the different professional areas, our skill areas, or any areas that we are involved over the years, and we lead it. We let it carefully, and we are still leading, Mikey.
yeah, but you and I know that in the past the union movement played an important role in terms of this sort of situation. And I don't hear nothing from the unions just now. It seems as if this government have been able to intimidate the Jamaican
By all the
people
unions.
through the fear, the fear the union movement is not as
So you
strong
feel
as
that about the leadership of the union, Mikey?
I think so. I really think so. I think so. No, I think so. The union, where's the union in all of this? Where's the union? No, seriously, where is the union? In 1985, when we locked down the country, right? When we locked down the country in 1985, we had the union movement. In fact, we had a big rally with Michael Manley, the late night vigil. You forget that at the race course, we all had that thing, mobilize the people and what have you. None of that is taking place. You know, yes, I like Mark Golding in them roots and what have you, but the organizing skill, a lot of what was accomplished was done by
Mikey,
way of good organizers. Whether it's D.K. Duncan, Arnold Birch, and Paul Burke, Larry Robertson, all of these comrades. But it's like, I tell you, the other day, a slug of funeral, I when I look around, I said, all my comrades don't know gray. You understand? It's like we retreat from the battlefield, but nobody replace us. That's the reality right now in Jamaica. So how we get around that?
How we get around that? We need to speak to, you say, those of us who still have connection at the community level with the leadership of the community. Those of us who still have connection in the union. Those of us who still have connection in the student bodies, if there's still any student bodies, because today I don't hear any student body coming out saying anything, right? I don't hear the union come out in a massive way speaking about that. And the unions were the ones who negotiate with the government to give the majority of working people in this country who works for government, the civil servant, who sit down and negotiate for 4 and 8 and 11 and 20%. They were the one. They should be the one who come out from day one swinging and asking for a mass union meeting to discuss that.
I would love to hear Lambert Brown viewpoint on this issue, you know. Ranigan, in terms of the lack of organizing and what have you, how can we get around this?
Well, let me go back to circle around to the question about the PNP action or inaction. What's his name? Julian Robinson, right? He got up and he expressed no objection to in Parliament when this announcement was made. And I've been told that he expressed no objection, not on his personal account, but that because they knew this was not a surprise. This was not a surprise to anybody. And they knew it was coming, and that the last person he spoke with was Mark Golding. That's what I'm being told. I can't verify it. But if that's the case, that's a problem.
They knew that it was the PNP knew it.
Yeah, they knew it was coming. And so what happened was I reached
Mark Golding came out after the first time the PNP knew about it was when it announced. Right, so Mark Golding would be lying to the people then if he says that.
That's what I'm hearing.
The first time he come out.
That's what I'm hearing.
The JLP is trying to swing it on the PNP. But is the JLP is in power? Is the JLP is the one who brings the chair?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Push and call for the remove of it if the PNP not doing anything about it. But the Mark Golding and the PNP leadership said it was the first time they heard about it on Tuesday when it came out.
It's equally bad if it's the first time.
I don't know. Junior know about it because Julian accepted it right away. So I don't know if Julian knew about it and the rest of them did.
No, I know somebody who spoke to Julian the following morning, and it was very revealing what they said Julian told him. But even putting the hearsay aside, you're a politician and you're sitting there and you hear the government.
We are breaking up.
Hold on. You can't hear me?
Yeah, you're in all right.
You can't hear me now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Hold on, I'll turn this down. Yeah. If you're a politician and you're the opposition and you hear the government get up and they make such a extraordinary proclamation, you have nothing to say. You say, listen, this is the first time I'm hearing this, and so I have to take this back and caucus and then come back to and let them know if we agree or disagree. But you don't get up and kind of express, it's almost like you're complicit when you get up and you kind of say, okay, we have no objections to it. And then later on, because I reach out, the PNP, they have a representative here in America. And I reach out to her as soon as I tell you what, I was on the phone with Andre Stevens talking about some stuff, and he got it, and he said to me, Rattigan, you won't believe what's going on. They just made an announcement, and I said, you're lying. And then I reached out to the PNP representative down in Florida, and I said to her, hey, what's going on with this and that and that and that and that? And I said, I hope they don't take any of this money. I hope they walk away from it. And she said, well, she'll reach out to them and find out what's going on. And then around midnight that night, that's when they put out the official press release. But I still have issues with it because look, you're a seasoned politician, and when you only when out of 63, the other side are 49, and anything them come with me suspicious. So anything them come with, I said, look, I this is the first time hearing about it, so give me a chance to talk to my members, them and things, and my leadership, and then I'll come back to you. But you don't utter any statement as if, well, you're in agreement with it, because even if anything closely resembling an agreement, they're going to paint it as an agreement. So you need to come out and say, listen, no, I don't know anything about this. Give me a chance to deal with this. That's the first thing. The second thing is, three things actually I want to talk about. Second thing is, Mark Golding should not have accepted it and said, well, he's going to give away 20%. Huh? You can't hear me?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mark Golding should have never accepted any of that money about, well, I'll take 20% because that's what the civil servant, that's a percentage increase that the civil servants receive, and so I'll take 20% and I'll give 20. I'll use the other 80% for charitable purposes. He should have said, look, I don't want any of this money, and my members not taking any of this money because it's unfair, right? It's vulgar, it's unfair, it's egregious what you're doing to the people who are the backbone of this nation. You have them struggle for 15%, and then you give yourself 300%, and then no, you try involve me in your little mischief and tell me say, well, me, and then I take it. No, I would have tell them, say, no, what you do is take my share of it and you give it to the civil servants. And if you don't want to teeth it, don't teeth it. But I want no part of it, because once you take any amount of it, you get painted, right? The third thing is, and I've said this to several people, can you imagine Edward Siaga in his heyday leading the JLP and him say, listen, we're going down this road. And then you have people behind him and say, no, we are going the other opposite direction. Can you imagine a Michael Manley in his heyday? So comrades, we're going down this road. And you have dissenters out there. And because right now you have people in the PNP who say, no, we want the money. We want the money.
Of course.
And I say, well, where is the leadership? You speak with one voice. You speak with one voice. You cannot say, well, I will take the full amount, but I'm going to give 80% to my constituency. Then another man said, no, we don't want none of the money. Then another man said, yeah, I want all of the money. I'm not giving anybody anything. I want. You're going to run a party like that? How are you going to run a party? That's why and you see what happened? The JLP make fun of Mark, because when Mark said he will get back, the prime minister did. The prime minister come out and say, yeah, I'm welcoming him to join the Give Back Club because I've been giving back too. And everybody laugh. No, man, they're not serious about fighting this thing. They're not serious. I submit to you that Mark is a nice guy. I've met him. I've sat with him for hours. Bright, personable, but I don't think Mark have that passion. You know what I say that I, I don't think him have it. I don't think it, where the part where you need a politics, you need a strong man. You need a man who come in and say, all right, let me hear the arguments them. And you listen to the arguments and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we decide and we move forward. You can't have the same thing and different voices after a decision has been made. No, it's nonsense. So,
I need to caution you here. I need to caution you here because democracy is it's like a salad. It's like that's what democracy is. I know. And in terms of Democratic Party and Democratic movement, yes, we need that strong leadership, but people must be free also to express themselves because in our democratic movement, you know.
No, you're not listening to me, no, no, hear me I say. What me I say is that yes, there's a point where you have democracy. That is when you caucus. But you come out of that with one voice. You don't come out of that and then the leader is saying, I will take my full share and I'll give away 80%. And next man come out and say, no, I want the whole thing. And next man come out and say,
but they never have no caucus as yet. They're having it today at their NEC.
That's why you don't make any statement. That's why you don't make any statement.
Until you go to your NEC today.
Exactly.
Your NEC should be the one who say that. So that is where I think Mark went wrong and I think Julian went wrong from beginning, right? And all they have to say that we did not hear about this thing is the first time we're hearing about it, and we're gonna go to our NEC. Our NEC will be. It is wrong. You first you need to let them know it is wrong. Right away, it is wrong. But we're gonna go to our NEC. And we're gonna speak on it.
That is assumed.
Come back with one voice, and we're gonna deal with it. I agree with Mikey that the democracy needs everybody to speak because some people would say, "Oh, you talk about me, you do what we have talk about. We don't want it. I mean, you never ask me. Yeah, understand? Say the one of railway in that discussion. Yeah, Mikey.
Yeah. Somehow, I am not convinced that the PNP, People's National Party, did not know about this, the discussion and the process behind this. They must have.
But Mikey, if you say you never know about it, you never know about it.
I just think they're saying that to cover them face because there's no way, and probably the only way I will believe if Lambert Brown said to me, "Listen, we know nothing about it." There's no way. Because this wasn't done in secret. It's not something that was done in secret. There was a process behind it. Yes, and somebody must have warned or alert the PNP to that this thing was coming. Must have.
Listen.
But guess what? The PNP is in such a state right now where everybody have something to say. They're just all over the place. So I don't buy the argument that they didn't know.
Listen, I am of the opinion that they knew about this, right? I'm of the opinion that they knew about this. And I'll tell you why they knew about this. Remember they had this pay hike thing came up back in 2021, you know. Came up back in 2021. It's just that they didn't make the allocation, right? And then they submitted a budget this year. And this money is in the budget.
In the budget.
So you ask yourself, who not get the budget? Nobody not got through it.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so this money was part of the budget?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if this money was part of the budget, they must know that line item payment for parliamentarian is $20, for example. So you must question that $20 then, if it was in the budget. Because you get a copy of what's supposed to be in the budget. Only if they took out that and then Nigel come with that on a different paper. Are you sure that it was in the budget?
Yeah, and
thinking that it.
No. I've been told by people say it's in the budget, it's buried in the budget, but they never read the budget. And what happened is that this was discussed back in 2021, was when they decided, okay, fine, this is the raise what they're going to get. Right? Them give them a raise back then, but they never got the money then, right? In 2021. But it was discussed way back then. And then now them come, because what happened, a guy educated me. Him said, no, him said, what happened is that, because I thought they got the money in 2022. And him said, no, 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 no. It was discussed in 2021 and it was agreed that they're going to get this raise, but they didn't get the money then, right? COVID and all other things, overtook them. So he said, what they're getting now is retroactive pay going back to 2021, plus the increase.
So you know that the person who benefit the most out of this are Oldness and his wife, Vaz and his wife, and they really benefit out of that, you know. And
all the husbands and wife in parliament will benefit.
Yeah, double amount, you know. You're looking at, with Oldness, it's close to $50 million
And
or
then,
more.
and then ask yourself the question, what look at the two reasons given, right? Because the reason that the Prime Minister gave is that's a slightly nuanced and different reason than what the Finance Minister gave. The Finance Minister's justification for this was that it will attract better quality people to the government. Right. Better quality people. The Prime Minister's version is that we need this money to pay people so that they can perform. Kime said, well, right now we're not getting the money. That is his argument, that right now we need the money to pay the people, because that's one of the reasons why you get poor performance, because we're not getting paid. Similar to what what's your name? Miss Worla, what's your name?
Lisa Hanna.
She wrote an article back in October 2021, and it was entitled, "You Get What You Pay For." And she made the argument that parliamentarians weren't making enough money, and that they were called upon to do a number of things. And so she said, no, they need a raise. But she said, we need to set standards in order to give them a raise, like performance standards and certain qualifications, which we don't have right now, right? So the reasons are different, and the reason why the reasons are different is because there is no sound justification for this. None.
All right, my question to all of us: when after the NEC, what things should come out of the NEC in terms of the way forward for the PNP and so forth? Or you think they should do it? And do you think the PNP becomes the next government, they should roll back it?
Well, if you're asking me, I think what they need to do right now is that money. It is obvious that they're going to accept this money, but that money should be placed in a fund, where I go and say community development fund, to do some work in the communities. The PNP activists need to go back into the community and work amongst the people. That's what I think need to be, focused on, because the problem that the PNP faces is that a lot of its organization at the community level broken down. They're non-existent. Those that they have in place, that little groups, it's just people just come together for just a merry time. Nobody sit down and discuss anything anymore. And that money should go towards building up the PNP organization at the community level, because that is the problem that we face. In terms of rollback, it's too early to say, because with what is happening in the US economy right now, and the likelihood they say some recession or something, any number can play between now and 2024. Any number can play, So I would postpone that for the time being, but use that money to organize the movement.
So you're saying then, Mikey, then use that money to organize the movement, that the PNP should take, the PNP politicians should take it, and then, as Mark said, take the 80% of it and go.
They are going to take it. They're going to take it, and it wouldn't be. It wouldn't look good for the PNP for it to be divided or split, one taking it and one not taking it. It's going to lead to a much deeper division within the PNP at the time when it should be coming together. So they have to come out with a common position around the money, or else you're going to have a deeper division in the ranks. You understand? So I think it take the money, but how they use the money. You know, put the money into community. Make us see some benefit from it. You know, I don't see if they say that they don't, they're not taking it. What's going on? People gonna what they're gonna say? They're not taking it.
Yeah, but
Read this gentleman. Read the finance minister in today's Gleaner, the Sunday newspaper, and present a lot of data as to the rationale and what have you. The weakness with his argument is that the problem we are having is with the politicians, accountability of the politician. That's what we are. We have no problem with the civil servants because we know, regardless of how the service is poor and poor customer service and what have you, they still produce. You still, even if you have to spend 3 hours with, they still produce. The politician is a very different kettle of fish. There's no mechanism in place to measure his performance. You know, and that is what I think we should be focused on. How do we use this time and get the people organized and find mechanism that will hold the politician? For example, Hilton. One thing I'm going to ask Hilton, you know, is how we plan to use that money. You know, yeah, I'm going to ask him that question because some of that money that he's receiving can be used in Waterhouse. Right, again.
No, well, go back to the question. Coming out of the NEC, what should be the message? If I were the leader of the PNP, I would tell them we're not taking a dime out of this money. This money is, to me, is blood, sweat, and
it's blood money.
Yeah,
blood money.
Blood money coming out, and what I would tell him is that let's deal with the real issue. Let's pay our civil servants and hold them accountable first. And before we even start taking the money, remember the accountability factor. We haven't been held accountable. So why are we taking money for something that we don't deserve at this point? We don't deserve it. So I would have said, no. What we need to do is we need to set some standards before we can even start talking about taking money. Taking money for what? No, because then you become complicit in this idea of, because it goes beyond this, you know, because the question then is okay, you have a remember now them say them bring down the budget, right? But no, you're gonna balloon the budget now with all of this, right? You're going to make it go back up. Then you have roads to fix, you have education for fix, you have housing for fix, you have security for fix, you have so many things to fix. And I say, and while them things are way to be fixed, you're gonna enrich yourself with a pay hike. If you just look at the performance across the board, you'll realize that, wait a minute, we have failed. So how can we take, in good conscience, how can we take this money? I will tell them, say, listen, here's what happened when we come out of this NNC. We're not taking none of this money. Similarly, if you remember at one point, and this is based on principle, because if you remember at one point, and people say do it for a whole bunch of different reasons, but if you remember at one point, Michael Manley forego the election. He said, we're not running, we're not competing. Right? Make them take it.
Yes.
Going to do it, right? And I'm saying on principle, and this is a less drastic stance, right? Because right, so you give power for almost 5 years. You get up without, you give them unfettered power. Here you only have 13 people or so, 14 people inside it. But I'm saying take a principled stand, right? And I think that's what the party is, one of the party's main focus is principle, right? And commitment to poor people. And you said, no, we're not taking this money. Make it upon feed them shoulder. Make them answer to the electorate why them give themselves a raise and what them do with the money. Make it upon them.
That is the way I'm thinking too. Don't take the money in at all and go out there now. Coming out of this meeting, this NEC meeting, there needs to go to the people of the country in different parishes. A mass meeting. You need a mass meeting in Alfred Tree at the center of Kingston, where the commerce is. And you need to speak to the people. For example, when I raised with you a while ago in terms of the cost, I am in construction. A laborer in construction, a laborer work from we start the project in the morning, say 9 o'clock, we start work, 8:39. And a laborer get $3,000 a day in the JIDC rate sheet, right? Many contractors not paying them that. It's supposed to go by 12.5%. It don't, the new rate sheet don't come, but if you call Master Builders Association, they told you that this is what must add to it. The government is having many construction work that is going on now is government through the Chinese. And the laborers at that point is not getting $3,000 a day on a government project, and government signed to the master builders rate sheet for construction workers. You see where I'm coming from? And yet you, one man, getting $30,000 a day. The man who beat the woman beater. And I will constantly say that because I want this to come into the mind of the people. You need now, when you go into them, you need to say, well, this is the rate that each person getting. This is what the prime minister getting per day. Because when you come to most people and telling them that 30% and that, most people don't understand what 30% is. Tell the man what the prime minister getting per day. Tell the man what the minister, the deputy minister getting per day. Tell the man what the ordinary minister getting per day. And they can understand that. A domestic worker getting $700, $900 a week. $900 a week. And he or she, because you have man domestic worker, woman domestic worker, he or she have to take the bus every day, 3 buses, 4 buses to go to work plus lunch.
Well, one thing is true, One thing is true is that the society is corrupt. We have a very corrupt system of governance in Jamaica. How we change it, I'm not sure right at this point. But one thing is certain, blood is going to run. Blood of as I'm saying, blood
You
of
need
run.
leadership to change it. You need leadership to change it. You need honesty to change it. You need people with integrity to change it. And if you have your leader is honest, if your leader have integrity, then everybody fall in line. Because that is what you are saying. And you ask those people who have integrity to come with you. You ask those people who are honest to come with you. And that's what they need. That's what Mark needs to get up and say in the tonight, tomorrow, when they meet. And they start to have mass meeting. Because, if the PMP don't attach themselves to this, tell them that the next election, don't feel up there. You have to lead the thing. You have to lead the cause, and you have to lead, and this is the biggest opportunity that they get to lead that cause. The biggest opportunity. So you have to lead it. You have to come out on it and lead it, and if you don't lead it, you're going to get left. Right? The GLP have the money, You can meet them at the buying vote. But when you can tell the people what the problems are, or you plan to deal with it, and you are saying to the people, I am standing with you, and you are saying to the workers, and you need to go into the different organizations, like the teachers organization, speak to the teachers. You need to go into the nurses organization and speak to the nurses. You need to go into the police. You need to go into that broad civil service, right? That is working and that is carrying the backbone of this country, and speak to them and say, I am the leader that will stand up with you, and I reject it. Yes, if he's saying that I'm going to take him 20%, for example, Radigan, right? Ratigan. If he's saying him gonna take his 20%, that is what everybody is getting, right? If he says he's gonna take his 20%, good, because they're gonna send the money to their account. Good. So you can say to me, say, I don't send all the teachers in this country and the civil servant get 20%. We don't want more than 20%. So you want to keep your 300% and you go to the people and principle. I would go in that way.
Look,
Right, right on.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and like to the extent that I wouldn't. You cannot. The issue, the meetings and the issues that you raise, Wesley. I don't think you can credibly raise them if you take any of this money. If you go and you say, listen,
Yes.
I'm willing to even sacrifice the 20% for them give you. No, I don't even want that because I want to make sure
Okay,
you
that
get
is a more
taken care of
profound thing.
first. Yeah, I want to make sure you get taken care of first. And then when you're taken care of first, then we can talk about the
Then we
parliamentary
can give it a
space.
20%.
Yeah, and by the way, and I would even go.
But I pose a question, and none of you guys address it. What about a further division within the ranks of the PNP over this issue? Because that is a real possibility. You know,
What's
you
the question?
the division,
What? Yeah,
the likely division of the People's National Party
yeah,
over this issue, over this
yeah,
matter.
yes.
That's a real thing.
Hey, look, but that's why you have leaders. That this is their problem. This is their problem. They're not listening to you, me, or Wesley. No, them are them own advisors, and that's why they're in that position. If you cannot lead, then leave. It's that simple, right? If you cannot lead, leave. But any division inside you, you're supposed to figure out a way. And what that tells me is that again, it's a reflection on the leadership that the opposition has right now. Because when you have somebody who get up and say, yeah, we have no objection, then you come out later on and 1 month say, take 20, take 80, blah, blah, blah. No, like Wesley said, Wimshaw says that, listen, first of all, we object to that. We object to that. It's grotesque that you would even think about doing that right now, given the economic climate that we're in right now, with people are suffering inflation and all of that, that you would even think about that. And we are going to take this back to our NEC and we're going to discuss it and we will come out
Because
with
a democratic organization.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to take it back to your party and
Right.
discuss it.
Right.
And that's what we would do. And that's what we do if it was something at the community level. And we go to a meeting and somebody says something, we say, well, we have to go back to the community and this. We are not in agreement with it.
Right.
As a representative of the community, I didn't get instruction to agree with it. So therefore, now I'm hearing it for the first time. That makes it worse. So we will go to our organization and discuss it.
Agree.
But that is it on the PMP. I think we have more wider things to look at to than not Mikey, as they say. We can't talk for the people, but we just hope that they do the right thing. And if they don't do the right thing, they're gonna leave. They might get leave.
Well, and that's a good note to end on, you know, because that's all we can do. Hope that they do the right thing. I can tell you this though, while I'm open, I am very worried about a further division within the People's National Party over this matter, because some are going to say they're taking it, which they have already done, and some are going to say, I am not taking it. So it leads to that division, and at a point when they need to be coming together. Wesley and Radigan, I want to thank you, my brethren,
Yes.
for the discussion. And we do it next time, next Sunday, same time.
All right, no problem.
Yes.
All right.
And let us know the topic from early that we can do our research.
Yes.
And I like this one because it was just a free talk and free thing and so forth. But if anything that we can come with statistics and so forth. And then next week we can speak of what come out of what the PNP said and what they do. I think it was good. And Mr. Rattigan, glad to meet you, sir.
Likewise, my brother.
I heard you over the time. I heard you. I listened to you, and I really admire your thoughts and so forth. Now that we are
much
in
appreciated
a forum together, it makes me proud. And a man from the grassroots like myself and Mikey, it even makes me proud.
Much appreciated.
Right, you need to know that, man. You need to know that that man is in real estate. You understand me?
I
I
understand,
built
bro.
Riverton. I was the man who did the Riverton thing.
Oh, watch. Oh, you know what? Watch the news tonight, because I got from a source. I'm hearing about some things that the Prime Minister is planning to do in Riverton, and he had a late night visit last night by some foreigners, and there are some Indians involved, and there are some Middle Eastern people who came in last night on a late night flight, met with him, and then left. So, and I'm hearing that they're getting ready to move the people out of Riverton, but just watch the news,
No, man,
please.
that will be shut down. That will be shut down if he tries that.
Well,
That will prove them and put them where? Put them where?
Good question.
Put them where?
Where? Because it's not like Clifton. It's not like Clifton. It's not like Clifton.
No, it's not Clifton. And most
Right.
of those property down there
Let me get this
is
straight.
people
Let me
want
get
the
this
property,
straight.
you know. A lot
Let me
of
get this
property.
straight.
Well, on the Mikey, it's not most of Riverton is not capture land. We want to know that. When I was building the houses down there, they had to the government have to buy back from some of the people who have lots down there under the Operation Pride program. So we can look at that in a broader way next week. Right?
Right.
So
Right.
yes. So I will do more research on that. I will carry my documents.
Yeah, because I'm getting the news as it's coming in, and in fact, I'm getting the news as it's coming in, and some people even send me pictures of the meeting that he had last night, because their plan is that they're going to try and just disperse the people, displace them. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that is where your MP comes in, and that is what no you and Mike
you want to hear something?
and find out.
Yeah, but you want to hear something? I am hearing it that the MP doesn't even know about this. I'm also hearing that the Minister of Energy doesn't even know about this. This is something between the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, and they're planning to make an announcement. And a huge brouhaha happened last night, where people start cuss each other, a whole bunch of things.
All right, I'm going to get on my phone
This is
and
breaking
have my
news.
contacts in Riverton and find out what is happening.
Yeah.
This is breaking news. This is breaking news.
Breaking news coming from.
But I know one thing.
Station, eh?
I know one thing. The Riverton people ain't gonna take it lying down. They're not going to take it. Riverton people not going to take it lying down. They're going to fight back. I know that much about Riverton.
If you get a chance, if the both of you get a chance, watch the Andres thing.
Don't hang up it. I'm going to get a link in Riverton just now. Don't hang up
Okay.
it. I hope the person answer.
Yeah, find what's
that
going
is terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Government a plan to move the people off a river and give it to the Indian.
No, them are gonna try.
They were saying that they're gonna do some over the time. They were thinking of doing from on a PGA time. They were thinking of using the dump and deal with some what you call
some
it?
energy thing. Renewable energy project them are going with.
Renewable, right? So if it's at the renewable energy site, that is one thing. But how can you carry people in my constituency and I am not a part of that discussion? Not no go so. Yeah, whether you're prime minister or what? Not no go so. I'm not telling you there on my phone. I'll see if I can bring up Lana. But I can't find Lana, so I will make you know, Mikey. I'll call you if anything, I'll make you know. Right?
Yes. All right.
What's the Riverton people saying? All right.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Yes, my brother.
Later. All right.
Cool.
Big up yourself, Wesley.
All right. Thanks again.
Next week.
Yeah, man.
All right. Cool.